You're listening to Ambitious AF, a podcast that will help you level up, find positivity, and put yourself on top right now and every day for the rest of your life. I'm your host, Caroline Lewis, and each week I will bring you a guest or thought that will motivate you to get out of bed every morning with the willingness to succeed. Being ambitious means you are proud of who you are and everything you've accomplished. Only you can make that happen, though. But with the help of this podcast, you will rise to the top. You will find success. You will believe in yourself and manifest happiness. And most importantly, you will become ambitious AF. I know you are eager to begin, so let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another podcast episode on Ambitious AF. I'm your host, Caroline Lewis, and I cannot believe this is episode number 8. We are almost in the double digits, and I have been getting such amazing feedback. Seriously, thank you so much for listening to these and commenting and telling me that they are inspirational and uplifting. It really, really means a lot. I think the most common feedback I'm getting is that I have a very nice narrative voice. So maybe I should get into like voice coaching or reading books or something like that out loud. But anywho, so let's get on to today's topic, since that's why you all are here. And today's topic is one of my favorites, and it is be the leader you'd want to follow. I feel like this is a great tie-in to what we've been talking about thus far, mainly because if we do all of this work, right, if we are becoming a more ambitious person, having this go-get-em attitude and just positivity and, thinking that the world has your back, the universe has your back, which it does, right? We talked about that in the last episode about law of attraction. You need to understand there's a difference between having all these things and giving back or showing your happiness in a good way and in a bad way. And that essentially comes down to, so you are enhancing your mindset, you're becoming more positive, you're becoming a more better person, more comfortable in your skin, more confident, more ambitious, right? But if you aren't being a good leader, if you are not showing people how to also be more ambitious or more positive or more happy or whatnot, if you're not being that type of leader, then what is all of this for? And I say this because at this point, we've talked about putting ourselves on top, right? And the importance of saying no to others and saying yes to ourselves 100% of the time. So I feel like at this point in our podcast journey, we need to understand that as we're learning all of these things, there's a difference between learning these and taking action in the right way or the wrong way. And being a leader is that taking action, right? Because you can become this overall great person, right? You're finally feeling good, you're thinking good, you're refreshed, you're energized, you're determined, you're motivated. But if you go and you still snark at people, or you're quick to judge, right? Maybe because someone's not as happy or positive as you, then you're not taking the information that I'm telling you seriously, and you're derailing back to that negative connotation, negative person, negative lifestyle. Because essentially it tells me you can learn all these things, right? But if you're becoming a super selfish person in learning all of this, right? Because it is a lot of one-on-one work and communication and loyalty and respect for yourself. But if you're not taking what you're feeling and putting it out in the world in a good way, then you're not doing it right. And that's why I wanted to talk about this topic of being a good leader, because when I say leader, I mean every aspect in life. Being a good parent, a good sister, a good brother, a good father, a good mother, a good child, a good boss, a good employee. All of these have different leadership aspects. And essentially, when you shift your mindset from this negative just downright miserable person to a happy, uplifting, positive, motivating, energized, feeling good type of person, people are going to see that and they're going to want your advice more. They're going to want to feed off you, right? Because it goes back to that whole energy and everyone connecting with each other's energy. So yeah, they're definitely going to want to take your energy and help their energy with yours. But if you aren't leading them the right way, if you're not showing them the ways of positivity and mindset control in a good way, then you're not doing them a justice. So leadership, right? It's a huge topic, and I think it's can be a little bit scary for a lot of people to consider themselves a leader. But when you think about it, from the minute you're born, you are a leader in some area of life, right? When you're a child, you lead other children. They follow you, right? They follow your lead. And you look up to those leaders in your life, your parents. When you graduate, you go to college, you're a little bit more independent. You're still a leader to your friends, to your peers, and honestly, even to your teachers, right? Because if they didn't teach you correctly, then you wouldn't be doing good on, your exams, your class, what have you, but you wouldn't, their goal is to make you a smarter, more better overall person educationally. So you're leading them to do well as a teacher. Okay, so you get through college, you go get your first job. You're a leader again. You might be on your own, right? But you're leading someone, you're leading a team. You're probably an employee, so you do have a leader above you, right? Your boss, but you also have peers within your team, within your job. So you're a leader to them. And then when you find someone that you fall in love with, you're leading that relationship, that healthy relationship, and likewise with the others, with your spouse. And then of course you get married, you're leading that, right? As well as your spouse. You're leading your children when you start having children. So the point of that is you're born a leader, you die a leader. However, a lot of people don't know how to lead. And they don't understand the concept of this idea because they don't really realize that every area of life, you're technically leading someone or something. I mean, even if you have pets, right? You're the leader. You show them who's boss. And being a leader does not mean showing someone who's boss. And I wanted to bring this up, so it was a good tie-in. Being a leader means that you have respect for other people and you know how to help them solve an issue, right? Solve a problem. Or you help guide them to a easier life, right? That's what a leader does in any aspect of life. And when the title says be the leader you'd want to follow, I honestly mean that because so if you're a leader of your life and those around you, who do you aspire to be? Who do you look up to? Is it your parents, your professor, your spouse, your boss, you're a podcaster, an influencer, right? Someone online. Who is this leader that you're looking up to? And really dial in on them. Visualize what they do to lead you, right? Because essentially you're picking them as a leader. So they're doing something that is benefiting you, is helping you in some way. As you look up to this person, remember, going back to law of attraction, visualization work, and manifestation, if you become that person, if you become someone that you aspire to be, then that means you are becoming the leader that you'd want to follow. Because if you're sitting here and you are wanting to start an online business and you start, Googling people, you find someone on Instagram and they're rude, they're total assholes, they're jerks, right? You're not going to want to follow them. You're not going to want their advice. You're not going to want their leadership. Instead, you keep searching until you find someone whose values, morals, authenticity connects with you and your problem being, or issue being, starting an online business. So when you go throughout life, remember that every action has something to it, right? It has a meaning. It has some type of reaction for every action you're taking. So if you're a shitty leader, for lack of better words, what is that telling you? That's telling me that, yeah, you could be just totally awesome on the inside, right? But maybe you've taken your personal relationship with yourself to that level of becoming selfish. Because essentially a bad leader is a selfish person. There's really no other, honestly, I'm thinking about this now. There's really no other word to put it. A bad leader is selfish because they've put them in this position to lead and they're doing a crappy job at it because they're selfish, because they're putting themselves on top, like we've talked about, which is good, but they're overdoing it, right? They believe in themselves almost too much to the point of selfishness. And they honestly, these types of poor leaders honestly believe that, you know what, I'll try to lead this team, but I can do it better anyways. They're not going to do the work that I could do, so I'm just going to take care of it, but I'll just tell them my 2 cents. And when you think about it, all those bad leaders in life, that makes sense now, right? They've all just kind of told you what to do, but they didn't really help you. They didn't really look forward to you succeeding. They wanted something now. They demanded it now. And normally they just end up doing it themselves because they're a selfish leader. They're a poor leader. And this, I'm not just talking about business. I mean, I'm talking about parents, right? Parents can be poor leaders. Parents who are poor leaders are selfish, and they probably shouldn't have had kids to begin with. And that's probably a rude comment, me saying, but so what, right? It's my podcast episode. And I honestly believe that, when you are a parent, that is probably it is the biggest responsibility you have on your shoulders. Raising a decent human being is freaking hard. So when you're knocked up or thinking of getting pregnant and having kids, make sure that you can lead and that you can lead in a good way as a good leader, right? A little bit of discipline, a lot of love, tons of motivation and independence, right? And a bunch of other things that make a good leader. I mean, think about it. What makes a good leader? Confidence. That's probably that's the first word that jumped in my head. Confidence, not selfishness. Confidence makes a good leader. And confidently knowing when to step in and when not to, what to say and what not to say, when to demand something and when not to demand something, when to take over or let someone figure it out themselves, right? My list could go on and on. But a good leader is also extremely patient because, of course, people aren't going to do something exactly the way you want it to be done. So it takes a lot of patience to be a good leader in any area of life. It takes a lot of patience to be a parent, but it also takes a lot of patience to be a boss. Leaders are motivational, right? They see their peers struggling and they motivate them to succeed. They don't do it for them, but they push them. They motivate them to do better in obviously a positive manner. Good leaders are healthy. I mean, honestly, if I had to choose between an unhealthy and a healthy leader, I would million times over choose the healthy one, because a healthy leader has the energy, has the healthy brain capacity, has the creativity, has the endorphins that inspire them to be an amazing leader and accomplish amazing goals. If you're unhealthy, you're not going to get that, right? You're not going to get those endorphins, that energy spike. You're not going to get that because you're going to feel like crap all the time. So definitely you need to be a healthy leader. And once again, this goes to any area of life. If you are an unhealthy parent, you probably are not doing as good of a job, right? You're doing a good job. I'm not saying that, but you're probably not doing as good of a job if you were a healthy parent, right? And I mean, people get sick, but when I say healthy, I don't have to explain it. You know what healthy versus unhealthy is, so use your imagination if you have to. But when you don't feel good, you can't lead well. And when you're a parent, if you don't feel good, you can't lead your child well that day. So, maybe you have to take a break. Maybe you have to see if they can figure things out on their own. If you're a boss, right, and then you don't feel good, it's going to reflect on your performance, your business performance, because it's also going to affect the energy in your work field. And if you aren't feeling good, I guarantee those around you are going to start to take on that energy and not feel good as well, right? So as you read these books and you listen to my podcast, right? I'm a leader right now. Doing this podcast, I am a leader. I'm leading you all to live a more abundant, happy, positive, healthy, ambitious lifestyle. I am leading you to that. So I know that my energy when I record these episodes got to be on par, right? I have to drink water. I have to feel good. I have to be creative. I mean, I don't even edit these things. Words just flow out of my mouth, but my brain is working thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands milliseconds a second. I mean, it's just like rapid fire, trying to make sure that obviously what I'm saying is leading you all in an understanding manner. Because I could just sit up here and ramble on, right? But that's not what makes a good podcast, and that's not what's going to motivate you. So while nothing's scripted, I have to, if I don't feel good, these podcasts would show, and they would not be doing as well as they're doing right now, because you would literally feel my energy on the radio or on your phone or wherever you're listening to these episodes. So as you go and you listen to podcasters and you read books, and as you're starting to feel better and you're understanding the difference between, putting yourself on top versus putting others on top, and you're working at law of attraction, and you're cutting back your excuses, and you're lifting yourself up more, you're giving yourself more credit, you're motivating yourself. As you're doing these things, remember to lead others the way you're leading yourself right now. Because, it trickles down. I'm leading you, but you are also leading you. Because if you weren't, then you wouldn't be listening to these episodes all the time. You wouldn't be getting your ass out of bed. And, you wouldn't be turning your life around for the better. So think of it this way. You lead yourself every single day. From the minute you wake up, even when you're falling asleep, your brain is essentially leading something. But we'll just say, for the sake of this, from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to sleep, you're leading yourself. So make sure you're leading those around you as you're leading yourself. And make sure that you are leading yourself and those around you as you would want to be led. As you believe those who you aspire to be or look up to, whether it's your parents or someone else, right? You're looking at their leadership and you're trying to mimic that, obviously in your own way. So make sure all of this leadership style is connecting and flowing so that you can lead yourself first, right? Because we still need to make sure that we don't forget about ourselves. So lead yourself first, and then make sure you're leading others around you in a good, positive type of leadership way. Don't become that person who's selfish and doesn't understand the importance of give and get, right? Which we'll talk about in another episode. I do have that written down. As you give, you get more. That's just how the universe works. And it goes with your leadership style. But I don't want to talk about that on this episode, because I want to focus, and what I've been focusing on, and as I'm wrapping up, is just understanding the fact that you need to be the leader that you would want to be led by every single day. Yeah, it takes effort, right? Everything takes effort, takes energy, everything takes energy. But if you can become this leader, this amazing leader, consistently, you don't have to think about it anymore. And you wouldn't have to listen to this podcast anymore, right? So if you are listening to this podcast, obviously you're struggling with being a leader, or maybe you're doing a good job being a leader, but you're not seeing the type of results that you're expecting, right? Just understand that those who don't lead well, they're selfish people, and we don't want to be selfish people. We want to be loving of ourselves 100%, but there's a difference between loving yourself and being selfish. There's a huge difference. Actually, maybe I'll do a whole other podcast episode on that, because I could talk about that for about an hour. Ugh, that topic. I'm not going to get into it. Anyways, okay, so I think that's what I'm going to wrap it up. Definitely, if you're looking for different tips on being a leader, I would head to the books, right? Go read Earl Nightingale. Go read Tony Robbins, right? Go read Atomic Habits by James Clear. Go read Rhonda Byrne's books, The Magic or The Secret, or any of those books, right? Because those are all amazing leaders who have shaped this world. Go listen to Sarah Blakely's masterclass, right? Go sign up for that, because talk about leadership. Holy cow, that woman is on fire, and she's been an epic leader from day one. I mean, and you even dive deeper into presidencies, right? If that's your thing, go look into past presidents and read up on their leadership style, because I guarantee you're going to find something in there that will click and that you'll want to try to mimic. And maybe you weren't around for their presidency, but that doesn't mean that they weren't a great leader and they can't still teach you, right? So go look up the founding fathers, or go look up war heroes and chiefs and all astronauts, whatever you want to look up. But if you need help, understanding the quality of a good leader, pop it into Google and go get some books on it, because there's millions of books. So I'm just giving my 2 cents here. But I'll wrap this up with saying, especially having a little niece who is my world, I have to make sure that me leading myself is healthy enough to lead my niece, because I know she looks up to me all the time, every day, as she calls out to her Aunt Cece. My actions are embedded in her brain and shape her reality. And I'm just her niece, right? My sister and her husband, they are doing an amazing job raising her. And then, talk about leadership there. But me not having kids, I just have my dog, which is a great example of my leadership, because I consider my dog pretty well behaved. As I look at Riley, my little niece, I want to obviously be the best version of myself I can for her eyes to see and witness, because even though she's just a wee little ass, she is going to remember these days, and I'm hoping that whatever I'm feeling and how I'm acting and my energy will rub off on her enough so that obviously she becomes this amazing, amazing, amazing individual for the rest of her life. So don't just think of leadership as just business. Think of it as life. Leader in your relationships, in your health, in your job, your parenting skills, your pet parenting skills, right? Your family relationships. You are a leader in every aspect in life. So just make sure that you are the leader that you would personally want to become, want to be led by, right? And I guarantee you're going to see life a little bit differently. And you're just going to stand a bit taller. And that's the whole point of it. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up because it's a almost 25-minute episode. So thanks for listening until the end. I hope you enjoyed this. I will talk to you all next week and have a beautiful, beautiful rest of the day, the night, whatever time zone you're in. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. See ya. Thanks for listening to this episode. If you got some value or just feel fired up, I would love for you to take a screenshot and tag me in your Instagram stories. It's always so motivating to see you getting the inspiration you needed to level up for my podcast. I'm going to keep showing up and bringing my best self to these episodes, and I encourage you to do the same. If you think a friend or family member would enjoy this episode, I would love for you to share the ambition. I can't wait to chat next week, but until then, keep being ambitious AF.